the course was 100 grand.
100 bags.
I didn't know how I was going to pay that. I just took a step of faith. I didn't pay anything. What happened to me was not normal. Ghana.
I haven't heard the name. If you know, you know.
There's going to be 2.5 billion people in Africa by 2050. Right now, we can't even feed the mouths of all those 1.4 billion people in Africa. So how are we going to feed the 2.x billion people that are going to be there in 2050?
Yeah.
I was CEO, but at the time, for that company, I was probably not the best placed CEO. So you also have to be self-aware of your own capabilities. I realized early on that I was actually dyslexic.
Wow, hold on. Dyslexic, and then you ended up at Oxford too.
I use that to my advantage. Very early in the course, that whole level of imposter syndrome hit me like crazy. I'm studying with some of the greatest minds in this world.
I can imagine you're probably one of the youngest ones in the room.
I was one of the youngest people in the room.
I remember, look at your website now. Pick up your website, by the way. I'm reading the mentorship part of it. You said that before you started being a mentor, you didn't think you were good enough or ready enough. But you always say stuff like how you're a director and all the things you've done beforehand. My first question is, how did you overcome that imposter syndrome of you thinking you weren't good enough to then actually start this mentorship scheme you're doing now?
And so just to clarify as well, at what point was this in your journey?
Yeah.
That
You always have that kind of feeling sometimes, you know? That doesn't make sense, always and sometimes. But like at times it comes, right? Yeah. And I always felt to myself, I look at things like a spectrum. Yeah. So I look at a 0 and I look at a 10 spectrum, right? Across that spectrum, I always used to think I'm like a 1 or 2, like, you know, even still today.
So what is 0, what is 10 then?
10 is like, good question. 10 is almost like, that is like what you dreamed of achieving, like everything you want. Yeah. Whether it's financial freedom. Yeah. Whether it is like achieving like all the businesses that you wanted to achieve. Yeah. Whether it's that, you know, $1 billion revenue that you're generating. Whatever it may be, that's it, right? And I still feel like I'm at a 1. Wow. Let's say. So I was like, if I'm at a 1, how do I even give back to people? Right? How am I able to even? So I would always hesitate from like giving anybody any form of advice. Cause I'm just like, what are you gonna get from me? I'm not at my 10 yet. Yeah. Right? But I realize in this life, right, your 1 could be somebody's 10.
Let's go.
Right? Your 1, and do you know who taught me this? Big up a man. Like we were talking, not even that he taught me it, we were having a conversation and he reminded me it, even though I knew this. But it's like that 1 could be, oh, how do you even get a job? How do you even write a CV? Yeah. How do you even, some people that don't know that, so how do you do the side hustle? Yeah. How did you make it to director at 27?
That's insane.
How did you even make a transition to Switzerland? Yeah. How did you get an MBA at Oxford? Like all of this.
Where did that even, we'll get to, sorry. I don't know where that even fits in, but yeah, please, you're in Switzerland. Please, yeah, I just saying.
So I'm just like, yeah. That mentorship just came from me just wanting to, when I started speaking to people that are asking me these questions, I was just like, okay, maybe I do have a little bit of something that I can give back, right?
Yeah. Because you were giving them answers when they were asking the questions.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just for me, what I do is I mentor people. I mainly ladies, but I also have a couple of guys I mentor.
Nice.
But it's all about just holding people accountable to the goals that they set for themselves. Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is how and hold your hand to get you there. Yeah. But rather just want to be an accountability partner. Yeah. Talk through things. Maybe there's a certain seeds through what I say and that might trigger a seed in your mind that will plant something, right? Yeah. Just through conversation. And a lot of things, ideas, people get ideas generated just because of one thing that maybe somebody said. Yeah. Right?
That's it. Seeds.
And just having those conversations, at least from somebody who might be just maybe half a step ahead of you at least, right? Might just plant that seed. Yeah. And it might not even be ahead of you. I'm a big believer. Mentorship can be reverse mentorship. Yeah, 100%. It could be peer mentorship. Yeah. It could be somebody, like, it doesn't have to be levels, right? It's having conversation with somebody who might have a skill that maybe you don't necessarily have. Yeah. Or maybe who's done something different. I don't know about podcasting. You're going to mentor me after this, mate. So, like, do you see my point? Yeah. So there's different things. And I remember at uni, somebody always used to say, surround yourself with people above you, the same level as you, below you. Yeah. Below you, I don't like using that terminology.
But I know what you mean.
But you're holding the door but open for somebody maybe who might not necessarily have the same skill or opportunities that you've had, right? And by that, you're able to build that. You can learn so much from even that person. That person doesn't have any inhibitions. That person don't know. So maybe that person is giving you different kind of insights that you never even knew. Do you see?
Yeah.
So for me, mentorship, is just an opportunity for us to have a conversation, for us to, for me to hold you accountable for what you're saying, right? And we'll check in. I do charge as well.
Of course.
And it's from a perspective, people reach out to me, but I don't give a price. I look at...
I saw that. It's like you ask. It's like an open thing. You ask them.
It's open, yeah.
Why is that?
Everybody should have an
So
opportunity.
basically, like on the there's a form to fill out.
Yeah.
We'll put in the link. We'll put a link in the description, and you say how much would you want to pay for this. So the onus is on them to see how much they value it. I'm assuming, but you can explain why.
No, that's it. That's exactly it. And also, everybody should have, it's all about, there's respect, relative affordability for people as well, right? So, but it's the value that you place on it, right? But I also believe it's important that both sides should have some form of commitment. So that's what it's all about.
I like that. I like that a lot. And you know what it is, when you pay for it, the onus is on them to turn up, to put the work in, and not only just to put the work in, but hold themselves accountable too, as well as you.
That's it. And
pay attention.
with any mentorship environment or relationship, don't sit around and wait for your mentor.
Yeah.
You need to be the one that's booking. You need to be the one that's following up, right? You're the one that wants to get something out of it.
Yeah.
So you should do the effort. Like, I have mentors that mentees that haven't contacted me, so I'm not going to contact them.
Yeah.
Like,
They came to you.
So yes, at times I'll check in and see how they're doing, but I'm also busy.
Yeah.
Right. But in any, like, I've got a mentor. One of my mentors is Lord Michael Hastings. Lord Michael Hastings is not going to message me all the time saying, Lorraine, how you're doing? He's a busy man.
I hear about his name all the time. You
see?
You got a lot of mentors.
He does have a lot of mentees.
Yeah.
A lot of mentees.
I know like at least 3 or 4.
Majority of them are guys. He has there's at least 30 or 40 of them.
Yeah.
You know?
I know 5.
So
Wow.
Yeah, that's just me.
exactly. So it's the onus is on me to say, Mike, when are you Lord Hastings? Sorry. Lord Hastings, when are you next available?
Yeah.
You know? And I will squeeze into his diary, not the other way around.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's out of also a sign of respect.
Yeah.
You know?
Because their time is valuable.
So do you know like side hustles and like we're doing your side hustles and your job? How do you manage like outside stuff too, like relationships with people, your friends, all that stuff there? How do you manage that?
It's a great question. You know, it's all about it's all about balance.
Yeah.
Life is a balance,
Yeah.
right? So it's all about the value you place on things. But as you get older, you start to realize what's more important in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you start to
100%.
double down on certain things.
Yeah.
So you realize, okay, maybe that business, I've started and I've failed businesses. There's a business that we started out of Oxford. I'm hoping we will talk a little bit about that. But we started a business, we raised 6-figure investment for it, and we failed.
Oh wow.
We failed. We closed down the business earlier this year. You know? So it's all about failing fast.
What were your biggest lessons from that? Your biggest takeaways?
I like that.
There's a few, and the few of them are a bit controversial.
Okay.
When you are, for me, I'm the kind of person I like to do loads of different things. That's just me as an individual.
Sound like me.
And sometimes to investors is not a good thing.
Right, because your priorities are like everywhere.
Yeah.
Correct.
Eggs in too many baskets.
Exactly. Investors like to see that you're working full time on that business that they're investing into.
Yeah, it makes sense for their point of view.
Oh, sorry. I have a question, actually.
Yeah.
Because one of my friends was speaking about this. We went to the Black Business Show. Amazing. By the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And we were there. We were speaking to some of these people at these different stores, and she wants to get into these companies, but she also has a business. And they were saying, it's probably not best for you to put your business on your LinkedIn and all that kind of stuff like that, because the company wants to know that you're kind of all in on this company. But I feel like with certain companies like Meta, it might be a little bit different. You can do that side hustle. You can do these other things alongside your full-time job. I just wanted to hear your opinion on that.
Great question. You know, even today I was looking at Meta's internal systems and I saw one guy talking about how he's a creator with like 350,000 subscribers. I was like, some guy that works at Meta.
Yeah.
He's a creator. I'm just like, so he's also a side hustler. Do you get it?
Wow.
And he's working. So it depends on the company you're working for.
100%.
And for me, I'm the kind of person, I don't want to shy away because it's those side hustles that make me the all-rounded individual that you've hired. So on my CV, I'll pull it. On my LinkedIn, I'll pull it.
Wow.
And because I feel like if you're going to hire a person, you're trying to hire somebody that has multiple different transferable skills.
Yeah.
Then they can prove to you that, they can balance priorities. They can prove to you that they can do this, X, Y, and Z. Why? Because they've got those side hustles. Yeah. So I personally don't like companies that would shy away from you being able to do outside things. That's me personally.
No, definitely.
Right? But if you are a believer in your own skills and you want to convey that and you're applying for a job, I think it's better to show them that, look at the experience that I have. You know, I've done this. I've started up this cleaning company. I've started up this tailoring company. I've started up this podcast. I've engaged 5,000 people or whatever it may be. Yeah. And you're able to actually demonstrate your actual experience from being able to do that job. That's my personal opinion.
And you can show the metrics as well and actual proof.
You can show 100%. It, you know, and for those people that are maybe just starting out their careers and are not able to get jobs yet, these are the things that some people, like employers, will then pick up on. They'll be like, wow, she actually started her hair business herself, right? She actually started her nail business. She actually started her candle business. He started this gaming community or whatever it may be, right? Because you're able to then demonstrate those skills, those experiences practically, you know?
Precisely.
But sorry,
back to what I was saying
taking it back. That was just something that I wanted to
very good side note, broski. We were saying about the
so many eggs in different baskets.
The six-figure. That's the six-figure investment.
Yeah, we got to pre-seed rounds and going for seed rounds, and it was difficult.
What are seed rounds, please?
Okay, so pre-seed is typically when you're raising capital from investors or investment from investors.
Yeah,
you typically go to you go through different stages and different levels. It starts at pre-seed, it goes to seed round, then it starts going to like series A, B, C, or that you start hearing like these different series.
But these are the stages of investment.
Investments, at the stages in which they're investing in you.
Okay.
And
so do you get paid at each bit? Do they invest in you at each stage or the end of it you get?
These are good questions. So pre-seed typically happens when you're pre-revenue.
Right.
Or you're starting up. So that's what they call like pre-seed round.
Okay.
And even before that, there's another This is probably a whole nother podcast because it's actually deep. It's actually deep, and I had to go to business school to also learn a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, MBA.
So typically in the investor circle, you start off with friends, what they call friends, family, and fools. So
that's the people that made the most from Facebook and all that kind of stuff.
They started they got in early, right?
Yeah.
And these are people that will get onto a cap table and again, I don't want to go too technical, but they'll start early and invest in you. So I'll be like, Rob, I'm starting up this podcast. Like, can you invest in me? You're a friend or a fool. So they call it friend, family, or fool because the fool is somebody who maybe a fool, FOOL.
Okay.
Yeah, they call it that. It's a colloquial. It's like it's a term that because that person doesn't really know so much detail about what you're doing. They're just going to dash you some money.
Yeah.
Right?
So why are they giving me money?
So it's just like. But
fool.
I've created a community for go-getters and entrepreneurs called the Wright.
Yes, people, I have made a group, a community for people. I say people, but it's go-getters, entrepreneurs, people who want to improve their lives. Probably some of you guys as well might be interested. It's called the Round Table. And essentially in this group, I will be getting together a whole load of people who will have the same vision and they're about the same stuff. I'm just going to be sharing as much value, resources, links to podcasts, to videos that I've seen, to books that I've read, anything that's helped me on my journey and helped my people on their journey, I'll be dropping in this chat. So if you're interested, go to the description below or whatever there is, it will be somewhere. Click on that link and join the chat. Trust me, you will love it.
Quick one, people. So I'm taking event bookings now to speak at events. For the last few months now, I've been speaking at universities and some schools, places such as UCL, Warwick, right? But now I'm officially taking event bookings. So if you want someone to speak to you guys about, or speak to your people about confidence, imposter syndrome, and the art of improving public speaking, I'm the guy for you. So contact me on the Coach Klutze, Robert Klutze, and I'll be there for you.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like a fool.
No,
no,
friends,
fool.
family, and fools.
Yeah.
FFF. Yeah.
I don't want to be a fool for you.
Okay, so we have these different.
So you have friends, and then you move to angel investors. Angel investors are actually semi-professional investors that are going to invest in your business, and then you move to venture capitalists, and then you move venture capitals, and then you move to like private equity firms, right? And that takes you through the series of investment. And we got to, we were at conceptual stage, building an app, development, and we were at pre-seed stage. Now we're looking at to go into revenue generating, get it out there. We wanted more money at seed round. So a lot of it kind of also goes down to like your market cap, your the amount of money you're raising, etc., what part of the process you are in depends on what level of what round you're now going into. And you can have multiple rounds in one bucket. Like you can have multiple seed rounds, you can have multiple series A rounds, etc. Okay, it's we need a whole nother podcast for this. I think we might need to talk about raising money. Now we got to a level where we had raised money from friends, family, and fools. So we had raised 6 figures from our community. Yeah. So but what happened, and is none of us were full time on the business. We had 4 co-founders. None of us were full time. And the moment we kept going to, everybody loved the idea, but they were like, "There's nobody full time." And then we also didn't have a technical co-founder. So there was a lot of contributing factors to what we were doing. It's what we tried, but the point I was making was fail fast, realize what you're doing, count your losses, move on to the next thing. And that's what it's about. That's what entrepreneurial journey is all about. Failing fast, move on.
Wow,
That's
big.
But lessons.
Yeah, the lessons from that. Yeah.
Lessons from that. I learned, there's a few different lessons I learned, right? The principles of having the right team members in place, people that are, and I was CEO, but I realized the lesson that I learned was at the time for that company, I was probably not the best placed CEO. So you also have to be self-aware of your own capabilities.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And so there was another gentleman who I felt on the team, I felt he was better than me to be CEO, but he wasn't at a point, married with 2 children, he wasn't in a place to take it on full time. Do you see? So you also have to be very self-aware to be like, wow, maybe you're not the best placed person to actually take this to the next level, right? So I learned how to hone into what is my skills, and not always, I like to put myself out there. I should be this, I should be that. But then sometimes you need to take a back seat and realize that other people are actually better than you in certain things, and give them the opportunity to ride.
That's like humility.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I think the self-awareness has been like a constant theme in your life as well. Because even at the start, when you're talking about how you really wanted to sing, you couldn't. But you're self-aware and you're like, okay, let me just be honest with myself. Like, this ain't my strong suit, but I still want to be involved in all of this. And I want to make this dream true for other people and possible for other people. And you still carry that self-awareness through this whole way. I feel like that's like a proper key trait that you have.
Yeah.
Honestly.
But yeah, what's another big tip you say, madam?
Oh, gosh.
Also, not a tip, sorry, another lesson, sorry.
As I said, a lot of people are raising investment right now. A lot of investors, there's a terminology they use, they back the jockey and not the horse. So sometimes you don't necessarily have to have the best idea, but to show them that you are willing and prepared to put in all the effort to make the business a reality. You might not have the capital, and some investors also want to see how much money you've put in first, but you can also demonstrate your sweat equity. Sweat equity, in other words, is how much effort have you put in that maybe is not quantifiable in terms of monetary value.
It's like non-pecuniary.
Jeez, what's that?
Oh, wow.
That's like costs, which it can't actually be equated for by costs, but it actually costs. So like time.
Mate, I've never heard that word before. So
yeah, no, I heard it because my brother was doing music, and then long story short, he had a case, and then he had to.
Gosh.
Yeah, do you know Brother John?
Yeah.
But then he had to put on his the cost, non-pecuniary costs, the cost of time, the cost of stress, all that thing. That's all sweat.
They call it sweat equity.
Sweat equity. Yeah.
So that wow, that's a word. Okay,
use that one for that one.
That's what I'm talking about. You see, we're all here to learn.
Precisely. 100%.
I just learned that you need to prove to an investor what you're worth.
Yeah.
As we said, the idea, nothing new is under the sun. Like there's nothing new on the sun. So somebody else could. My idea that we had for our the app that we were building, basically is TikTok. You know, that's what we were building then.
Yeah.
When TikTok was Musical.ly, like, and then it got acquired.
Yeah.
That's when it was Musical.ly was when we were building this app.
So like similar to Vine, because there was Vine at the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we were built, and then TikTok comes out, and we're just gonna cut our losses and just move out, right?
Oh, is that why you stopped?
The competition element, we're like, this is just too big,
Yeah.
you know, which is too big.
Took
But
over quickly
Too, you know.
And that's like when you're talking about betting on the jockey, not the horse. That reminds me of stock investing.
Yeah.
So even that's investing on a much smaller scale,
Yeah.
or depending on how much capital you have. And then you look at a company, and what I learned is that you don't just look at the company's not the fundamentals, but like the balance sheets and all that.
Yeah.
Kind of stuff. You look at who's running it,
Absolutely.
because it determines the long-term trajectory of that company. And
Absolutely.
even in terms of investing, talk about investing back into Ghana.
Oh, hello.
That is something that I want to speak about.
Yeah.
But I just want to hear about like what you're doing and why you're doing it as well, and kind of what you're involved in.
Ghana.
I haven't heard the name. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
I would laugh, but I'm not involved in the job.
What's the Ghana day there, by the way?
Of course, yeah.
Because what day is that?
Sunday born.
Sunday
Yeah.
born.
Day.
Shantini.
No.
Anthony.
Kwapim.
Aquapim.
Wait, I was on a Tuesday. What that mean? What that mean?
Kwabna.
Kwabna.
Yeah.
I'm a KB.
Yeah.
We got KB, man. If you're watching, crazy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I hope it is. Yeah, I think it is Kwabna because my brother's Kwabna. Yeah. So, Ghana. Yeah, Ghana is my my parents are both from Ghana, but I was born here in the UK, but I just started to fall in love with Ghana, as everybody is right now.
Yeah. The trend right now.
Yeah, I just wanted to just be back and give back. Actually, I don't want to use the word give back, because that makes people in the Western society feel like they're better than the people that are in Ghana.
Yeah,
and
That's a topic.
so that's I don't want to say give back, because I just want to contribute.
Yeah.
And I want to be part of what's happening in Ghana.
Yeah.
Right? And connect people to Ghana. So in Ghana, I have a beauty salon called Leona Nails in Laboni. I did invest Ubers. So Ubers, I shipped some cars out into Ghana and got Uber drivers to drive. We can talk about how well or badly that business went.
What?
Property.
Not just any property, luxury property and that. You guys know about
so anybody looking for
Bougie.
properties in Ghana,
Like Chelsea of Ghana.
I represent a company called White Wall Properties. So anybody looking for properties, kindly reach out.
You said White Hall Properties.
White Wall.
White
Wall.
Okay,
Yeah.
put that in the description.
What else have I done? And then Grow for Me, agritech.
Yes.
This is a company that is really allowing anybody, agriculture is the green gold, right? Agriculture is considered to be the next frontier when it comes to green investments, when it comes to investments.
That makes sense, yeah.
And especially during COVID, right? I always think about this. I think about during COVID, when Boris Johnson, those times, announced everybody should be on lockdown, what did everybody run to the supermarket and go and buy?
What, the toilet paper?
And
pasta.
And food, right? Put aside the toilet paper for a moment. Food, right? So it means when you think about, and those people that obviously just think Maslow theories of needs, right? At the bottom of the pyramid, the base of the pyramid is water, shelter, and food.
Oh, that's economic. You're telling me about economics times.
So, now people are trying to say Wi-Fi is at the bottom,
That's
trying to
crazy.
say it's basic necessity.
To be honest,
it actually is.
Because when I was thinking, I'm traveling next year quite a bit, right? And I'm thinking, okay,
Wi-Fi.
am I gonna have a steady Wi-Fi connection?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Wi-Fi is considered to be at the bottom of Maslow's theories of needs.
We'll put a picture there.
The hierarchy.
Yeah, the
We'll put a
hierarchy.
picture, yeah.
And so, food being a bare necessity means that there's always going to be demand for food.
Yeah.
And what is at the value chain of food is from agriculture. It comes from agriculture.
Yeah.
So agriculture across, for example, in Africa, there is currently 1.4 billion people in Africa.
Wow.
And by 2050, it's set to be a third of the world's population. There's going to be 2.5 billion people in Africa.
By what time?
By 2050. That's only in like 30 years.
Wow.
Now, right now, we can't even feed the mouths of all those 1.4 billion people in Africa, right? So how are we going to feed the 2.x billion people that are going to be there in 2050?
Yeah.
We can't. We need to look at what's happening in agriculture. We need to invest in that place, right? To make sure that we're going to be able to feed those mouths, right?
Lorraine,
and so
heavy on the we need to do that. By the way, please, heavy on the we need to do that because other people will.
Yeah.
If we don't.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So for me, there was a company I came across and their ethos was simple. We want to Grow For Me, the company Grow For Me, want to close the gap when it comes to food security. Wants to make food accessible and affordable for everybody across Africa.
Love that.
And their model is simple. It is allowing anybody, so mainly people like you and I, that maybe don't have a clue about how to farm, where to get land from, where to find a farmer. They take the effort and the stress out of that and farm on your behalf.
Oh, wow.
So it's a platform that, let's say you had £100 to spare, you can put that £100 through the platform, and then we will connect farmers that we are working with already that will then grow, whether it's rice, pineapple, soybeans, or maize on your behalf. We will grow it. Pineapple takes 14 months. Rice takes maybe 6 months. Soybean takes another 6 months, etc. Maize takes again 6 months. Maize is like corn on the cob, right? Corn. So we'll grow it on your behalf. Once it's grown, we'll bag it up, harvest it, and we'll then trade it to generate a profit. So once it's traded, then you'll get back profit, hopefully. And I say hopefully because no investment is ever guaranteed. Investments, capitals are at risk. But we do our best to manage that, right? So that you're able to then generate a profit after you've invested your money. So that's the business model. At the moment, we are also operating into what they call, we call it a micro aggregator platform. So allowing people that are on the ground that are trying to gather. One of the biggest challenges in Ghana is aggregation. So a farm might be here, a farm might be here. But how does that farmer get its produce to the people that need it? Somebody needs to aggregate it in the middle. So we are now investing more in the aggregation space where you've got people, middlemen, that are now going to purchase the stuff from the farmers to then bring it to the trades areas and to the various warehouses to trade. So that's what we're mainly focused on at the moment. But so we've got two business models. One is the micro aggregation and the other one is allowing people like you and I to invest in farming. So that's available, very simple, through our platform. And it's a crowdfunding model. So you're not necessarily going to own a farm. You're contributing to the growth of a unit, for example.
So it's like buying a fractional share.
Something like that, you know. Exactly. A lot of people are doing like.
Oh, I see, like the S&P 500. Like buying bits of that.
Or like
Tesla stock or something like that.
Or some people are doing it like contributing to the purchase of like houses. So
same thing with NFTs.
Exactly, right? So that's kind of the kind of model that it is.
Very impressive, by the way. I just wanted to say this is very, very impressive.
Yes. And it's actually interesting how you said that you sometimes feel at your stage one because...
Yeah, see what I'm saying?
But it just shows something so important. Everyone's stages are so different. But your perspective is everything because everything you said so far, someone's probably thinking, I'm thinking... John's thinking too, wow, it's a woman of excellence. You're thinking like, this isn't even where I need to be. And also, I think within that all, it's important for us to be humble, but also it's the best for ourselves and want the best for ourselves too. Because I'm sure Lorraine, she's happy where she is, but she wants more. That's also something we have to be as we have to have as people. The desire to want more, but also be happy where we are. And I'm sure that's where you are too. You're in a state where you're happy, but you want more too.
Absolutely. And I think everybody has and should have a moving goalpost, right? So your goalpost will always just keep, that's our life. We are human beings, right? We are being. We are moving. Being is a doing word.
Come on.
So you have to keep going.
Come on.
There's no choice.
100%. 100%.
If you're not being, you're dead.
That's it.
Yeah, 100%. And last but not least, I want to talk to you about Oxford. When did that even happen, please? Because you were talking about how you were to Switzerland, talk about how you're working for. When did that even take place?
We're gonna get a bit deep here because it's a bit of a testimony as well.
Okay.
going back to your point, you were asking about how do you put yourself out there. When I was in Switzerland, I got nominated for the BBA award, Black Business Award.
I saw it on your page, but I'm not sure what that is. Please.
BBA award, Black Business Awards. Yeah, I think it's Black. Yeah.
BBA.
Yeah. BBA. BBA. Yeah. So I was looking where the other B was. And I've been nominated. And so when I was nominated, what I did is I sent it to my boss. And at the time, my boss was like, "Oh, we should send this." And I was like, "No, let's not." Because those times, not even those times, I'm acting like it's a long time ago. It was like how many years ago? 7 years ago or so. Those times you're still shy to be black. Like, so it's like, oh, no, I don't want people to know that I've been nominated for a black award, you know? But then he was like, no, he's going to pull it out there. So he did it.
Was this a white man or
a white man?
Okay.
Yeah. And then he then shared it with his boss. And then from the very nature of that sharing process within the company, it then went on the internet site, and then I think the CFO of the company, UBS, who I was working for at the time, saw it.
So I'm a bit lost. What were they sharing?
They were sharing the fact that I've been nominated for the award.
Yeah.
Is it for your work within the music scene?
No, it was actually good question. Sorry, I'll skip a beat.
Yes, people, I have made a group, a community for people. I say people, but it's go-getters, entrepreneurs, people who want to improve their lives. Probably some of you guys as well might be interested. It's called The Round Table. And essentially in this group, I will be getting together a whole load of people who will have the same vision and they're about the same stuff. I'm just going to be sharing as much value, resources, links to podcasts, to videos that I've seen, to books that I've read, anything that's helped me on my journey and helped my people on their journey, I'll be dropping in this chat. So if you're interested, go to the description below or whatever there is, it will be somewhere. Click on that link and join the chat. Trust me, you will love it.
Quick one, people. So I'm taking event bookings now to speak at events. For the last few months now, I've been speaking at universities and some schools, places such as UCL, Warwick, right? But now I'm officially taking event bookings. So if you want someone to speak to you guys about, or speak to your people about confidence, imposter syndrome, and the art of improvement public speaking, I'm the guy for you. So contact me on Coach Klutze, Robert Klutze, and I'll be there for you.
I was nominated for being a rising star in financial services. At the time when I just turned, I think it was before I'd been made director, I think, or something, but I was considered to be a rising star at the time.
Okay.
I was managing 50 million budgets, etc., like in the office, at work. And so I shared it to my boss, right? And that very nature of me, that very act of me sharing it with my boss, led it to him sharing it to his boss, and then his boss sharing it to his boss, right? So putting yourself out there. Let me tell you what this did.
Talk to them.
This allowed that CFO of UBS Bank to recognize me, and I was like 5 levels below him, or however many levels I was below him, and then him to say, I want to mentor this girl.
Okay.
Now, by him saying he wanted to mentor me, I then used that as an opportunity. Because at the time, I was thinking, I want to go business school, I want to do something, you know? So I, at the side, applied for business school. And at the same time, I wrote him a proposal and said, would you sponsor me to go to business school?
I like what you think.
So I applied to go to Oxford at the time.
Amazing.
Because when I left uni, undergrad, I left college with 3 A's at A-levels.
Okay.
And I was like, I didn't know, and this is why representation is also important. I didn't even know with 3 A's I can go to the world's best university. I didn't know at those times, right? But when I left uni and I started to have my eyes open, I was like, mate, I still want to go to one of the world's best universities. It was on my vision board, right? It could have been a Harvard, it could have been an Oxford, right? In fact, I did want to go Harvard, but Harvard didn't allow you to do a course while working. And I wanted to work at the same time.
Oh, you're balancing both of them.
Thankfully, my sister ended up going Harvard. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a time when Stormzy sponsored someone to go, he like dashed money.
Yeah?
That was my sister.
Oh,
So she went Harvard. So
that's mad. He's from the same ends.
yeah.
Wow. Cool,
So so my sister went. So my sister took that dream of Harvard. But she went Oxford beforehand. But I went Oxford.
Wow, that's a family of excellence, you know.
You know what I mean? Oxford and Harvard.
She went Oxford just like that, just dashed out.
She went Oxford.
Yeah.
So that was my dream, right?
Yeah.
So when I got the opportunity to have him as a mentor, I capitalized on that opportunity so much. I applied, and by the grace of God, I got in.
Wow.
But I didn't know how. The course was $100,000. I didn't know how I was going to pay that. I just took a step of faith. I was like,
100 bags.
I didn't know where that money was coming from.
Is it all at once you have to pay it, or is it like
you pay it like
installments?
over the course? Like I think the first 6 months it should be paid or something like that.
What?
So there's me not knowing how on earth am I going to be able to pay for this course, but I just applied, right?
Yeah.
So I applied, and I approached him. I was like, can you sponsor? I got into, I really want to do MBA. I come up with a whole business case why it'll be beneficial to UBS. I remember
Can we not skip over that, please? You came up with you gave him a presentation.
Like a document,
document
of
like,
say,
okay, because people come to people unprepared, saying, "Oh yeah, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me?"
That's a good point.
Why should they do anything?
What are they going to get out of it?
What are they going to get out of it? But you presented that to him plainly.
Yeah, correct.
Plain.
So to do that, and then, but they came back to me with, okay, we'll sponsor you, but we're going to give you $5,000.
No.
I was like, the course is 100. So where's that 95 grand?
You see what I'm saying?
And the course, that's just the course. It doesn't cover your accommodation, your travel, like, because you travel around the world on the course.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
So, so I just kept going back and again, you need to learn how to influence people. You need to know how to bring people along with you on a journey. These are all skills that you need to learn. And so I was able to do that, push back. Not let's say push back, because you can't push back a CFO. Nah. But like explain that I actually had it part of my objectives for like the 3 years prior. I always kept it in my, at the bank, your performance review. I was like, I want to do executive course. I had it in there. So I was able to keep just nudging, reminding them this is what I want to do. And I think I asked him before I got into Oxford, but then when I got into Oxford, I then showed him that I've actually got in. And there's like no choice. It's either I'm leaving or you're going to sponsor me, And by the grace of God, they were able to agree.
The full thing. Wait. How much?
This part I can't even talk about too much on camera. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay.
But they
helped you.
Yeah. I didn't pay anything.
Okay.
Let's just put it that way.
It was handled.
Let's just put it.
It was handled.
By the big man upstairs and the people in the...
By the big man upstairs.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna say. By God, because what happened to me was not normal.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'll be very clear about that. And I can't really say it on camera.
So wait, okay, back to what we were saying.
So I did the course, but very early in the course, that whole level of imposter syndrome hit me like crazy. I'm studying with some of the greatest minds in this world.
I can imagine you're probably one of the youngest ones in the room.
I was one of the youngest people in the room. The average age in that, because the course I did was the executive MBA, not the normal MBA where you go for a year. This one's the executive one. So they expected people to have minimum 15 years experience.
Yes.
They expected the average age of the class was like 40 and I was like 29 at the time, so it was just like,
wow.
I was, and it was just,
Mummy's prayers have been working. Mummy's prayers, that's that favor. That's a 29 in a room of people who are 40s, 50.
I was 28,
You can't get to a room like that by yourself. How can you?
And so, and you're like, even the words they were using were just boggling. Like my mind was just confused by what people were talking about.
Yeah.
And
comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah. That's the point.
Yeah.
And what I learned when I applied to Oxford, what I actually put in my application was my reason for going there was because I wanted to learn how to ask better questions. Because coming from a culture like a Ghanaian culture, you're taught to accept whatever you're told, not to answer back, not to ask questions. And I started to realize that not asking questions was hindering me because I was shy of just being in the environment and being able to ask. You can think about it, but I was shy to be able to raise that question, raise my voice. So I wanted to learn how to ask those questions and ask them in the right way. It sounds silly, but sometimes being able to figure out how to even break down. You can be in those places where somebody asks something like, wow, how do they ask that question?
Yeah.
I wanted to be that person. But I just learned there's actually an art and there's a skill. I'm in a room of people that, like, the Americans love to ask questions. Americans are type A people, like brave people. And the Brits were always kind of like a bit more reserved, but they were asking thoughtful questions. Okay. And I started to learn, how do you ask questions? Like, nobody teaches anybody how to ask questions. So I started to learn, okay, when you're trying to ask a question, look at phrasing it in a certain way. Oh, that's interesting. You spoke a little bit about X, Y, and Z. Can you elaborate a little bit on why that is the case? You know, or you might want to think about, like, you just want to pick up a little bit about the context they were speaking about. Then you want to add, okay, like your own flavor to the question. So there's a whole thing that you can do about teaching people about how to ask a question, because the way you frame a question is the way you're going to get the answer back. You know? So for me, that's where I learned how to, and now people just hate me because I'm asking too many questions, you know, but that's the only way you're going to learn, and the way you're going to get knowledge, by asking questions. And it was through the fact that I learned how to ask questions that I got to join the company at Grow For Me.
Wow. Yeah, exactly.
Because I was asking questions.
I think there's two big things I've taken away from this so far. One, your ability to ask questions. If I don't say, it's even more than two things, but I'll say a couple of things. And also your ability. Oh, it just came to me, it just left me just like that. What was the other one I was going to say?
Whilst you're thinking, I'd say self-awareness once again.
That was the point. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was it.
You realise that you can't ask good questions.
Yeah.
Or you can't, matter of fact, you can ask better questions.
That's right.
So you said, okay, cool, let me get myself educated on it. That's amazing.
Humility is really important in life, because everyone who's watching this right now, as you said rightfully, so if we're still alive, we're still young enough to learn. Learning never ends. Learning is not a thing where you get to maybe 70 or 50 or even 40 and you just stop. No. We're human beings, so you must be doing something. You must be learning. So your humility and your capacity to learn, even when you're in a space where you've had all these achievements, as we said at the start of the episode, just reinforces why you're doing what you're doing and why you're doing it so well. And that's a lesson for everyone right now. Like, never ever think you're above asking questions. Never think you're ever above being humble enough to ask for help and ask for advice, because trust and believe there are people out there who know things which you don't know. Even even someone younger than you, they might see things a different way to you. And what you showed to us right now throughout this whole episode is that your humility to ask questions, and also, as bro said rightfully so, to be self-aware, to know you don't know everything, is what's taking you to heights where I'm sure potentially when you started this you wouldn't have thought so, but now look at you now. So testament there, and glory to God. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I think the self-awareness, I realized early on that I was actually dyslexic. I'm dyslexic.
Oh, right.
And
wow, hold on. Dyslexic, and then you ended up going to Oxford too. That's not part of testimony.
I'm telling you, because but also being transparent with it. And we live in a day and age where you can't discriminate against people with learning difficulties, right? And for me, what I'm challenged with, or I believe I've overcome it now, but what I was challenged with is just consuming a lot of information in a short period of time. I struggled with it. Like, so I got tested and they said I had dyslexia. So I use it to my advantage. I got extra time doing exams. You know, I use it to my advantage. So when I was at Oxford, I got a distinction. Why? Because I had my time to do what I needed to do.
Wow.
Where I struggled, sorry,
that's perspective, right?
It really is.
Explain.
That's just perspective, isn't it? Because some people would see that as a weakness.
I got extra time to do the stuff that I need, because I struggle with. That was what I just said. If you give me an essay, it will probably take me twice the amount of time to read it than it will take somebody else. I take a longer time to consume, to process information. And so, of course, they're going to need to give me more time, because if you're going to give me questions, it's going to take me longer to answer it. So I use that to my advantage and took full advantage of all of the tools and softwares they were offering, you know, to allow me to prosper and progress. So, yeah.
I like that. And you know what, because I know you got an appointment to go to afterwards, but we've got one final question we want to ask you. We ask all our guests this question here. And it's this. Is Lorraine happy with where she is on her journey right now?
In this moment?
Yes, I am in this moment. I think there is more to achieve.
Yes.
I think, do you know what? I'm not even happy. I've got joy.
Okay.
What's the difference? Please tell me.
Joy is irrespective of the situation. Right? Joy.
Job.
That's it.
Yeah, at least we're back together.
Joy is something that, despite your circumstance or despite a situation, and again, as a Christian, you've got the joy of the Lord, right? And so, for me, your question was, are you happy right now? Like, that's situational, right? And for me, joy is about, irrespective of your situation, there is still joy. Yeah. And there's still hope.
I love that. That's all we have. We have hope. We have that hope. And right there, guys, we have the episode there.
I'm sorry we had to cut it short.
Yeah, man. I wish we can go longer, but this has been really, really good. How have you found the episode?
I enjoyed it.
Very, very well.
Amazing. I feel like we probably need a part 2 then.
Yeah, we do. But guys, if you enjoyed it, audio people, leave a 5-star rating. Trust and believe. It goes a long way. If you're on YouTube, leave a like. Goes a long way too. Leave a comment too. Share with people, because trust me, someone out there will definitely need information. Trust me. But guys, I am one part of the Purpose-Led team. My name is Coach Klitze. Thank you so much for your time today. Have an amazing day. God bless you.
My name is Jonathan. I'm another half of the Purpose-Led team. And thank you for tuning in. And Lorraine, thank you so much for joining
us. And I'm Lorraine, the third part of the podcast.
But yeah, so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you for having me.
And as I said, extremely impressed with everything that you've done. And I'm sure our viewers will be as well. And then we'll be linking all your stuff in the bio. You said that you were doing something with E-Man.
Yeah, E-Man and I are launching. This is an exclusive. Wow. We are launching a side hustle boot camp.
Come on.
So people that are interested in side hustling, you're going to learn from people that have gone ahead. I don't want to say, should I say experts? Your expert is somebody who's done at least 10,000 hours in something. We've definitely done 10,000 hours worth of side hustling.
Wait, is that what it is? Is that what? How many hours have we done for the podcast?
Done quite a few.
You guys are experts in podcasting, you know?
Wow, 10,000 hours.
Malcolm Gladwell, his book says it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert. So yeah, so we're going to be doing the side hustle boot camp. Nice. Anybody that wants to learn either how to side hustle, maybe you have an idea and you want to get it off the ground, or number 2, you're already doing it alongside your full-time job, but you want to take it to the next level. Nice. You know, come through our boot camp, which will be starting the beginning of 2023. Nice. And yeah, just let's kick off the year with
start off right. We celebrate that here. We celebrate that. Lovely. And guys, without being about there's coming out. Is there a link to that already now?
We will, follow us on our socials. So at Lorraine H. Wright, and then the E-Man Effect as well. So just follow us, and then the moment it comes out, everybody will see.
Perfect. Well, you guys heard it from the lady herself. But guys, have an amazing day. Look after yourselves. Win your day. Win your week. Be intentional with improving your life.
Yes.
Live a purpose-led life, guys. Look after yourselves. See you very soon.
See you later.
Get it.
See you later.
Bye.
How do you find that? That was really... Yeah, how do you find that, man?